Welcome back to Movies Recap. Please like the video and interact with it to support the channel to continue to provide this content. Thank you so much. The film shows a hand searching through the mud for what appears to be gemstones. Actually, the gemstones are uncut diamonds. Now, in the bustling city of London, Laura Quinn, an elderly woman, is seen sitting in a cafe as her visitor, Cassie, a young newspaper reporter hoping to write a piece about Laura, comes. As they speak, Laura generates a 168-carat diamond with 58 facets. As Laura starts to describe how she stole the diamond from the London Diamond Company, Cassie is amazed and takes up the stone. When Laura tells her story, we travel back to London in 1960. Young businesswoman Laura, she is making her way into the London Diamond Corporation building where she works as a manager in a workplace that is predominantly male. She waved at Mr. Hobbs, a retired cleaner. Mr. Eaton is seen being followed by two men pulling small trolleys. Eaton opens a sizable vault where the diamonds are loaded onto the trolleys and brought to the desks for full inspection. A number of protesters are present outside as the owner of the business known as MKA and his son Ollie enter the building. The directors and staff are waiting to discuss the most recent news of 100 diamond miners being killed at the mine location in Africa as they walk into the office. Laura informs MKA that due to the negative publicity, the Russians would probably cut off contact with the business. Peter Boland has been named as the new managing director by MKA. Because the business won't break precedent by appointing a woman managing director, Laura is not chosen. Later, we witness the cleaner, Mr. Hobbs, walking inside Laura's office. She hears him say that he thinks people should be brave and go after what they want. As usual, Laura is the last to leave and signs out. The next day, Laura runs into Harold Reynolds, a friend from Oxford University, in the corridor. He gives Laura a business card and suggests she might like to work for Allied Banking, the company he works for. The next morning, she finds her inspirational note and a negative response written below. A cinema ticket with a session time inscribed on the back is also discovered by her. She visits the movie theater during her lunch break after her curiosity wins out. Mr. Hobbs is waiting for Laura as she walks into the theater and proposes they seat together. She is losing patience, but he assures her that she will soon lose her job due to a conversation he overheard between the directors. He suggests stealing just enough diamonds to make them wealthy without drawing attention to himself. She expresses reluctant to believe him and cautions Hobbs that he won't get away with it. Later at work, Laura finds a letter of her employment termination. After that, she makes a consultation with Harry Reynolds. Harry informs Laura that his business cannot provide her a job because of her incompetence while they both eat in a restaurant. It appears that her business has made some unfavorable rumors about her. She had a dream that night while dozing off on the couch about being caught trying to take gems from the business by the security personnel. She searches for Hobbs at the dog races the following evening. She inquires as to how he might loot the business. Her strategy is in the works, says Hobbs. He discusses his strategy to Hobbs in his apartment. He will need Laura to locate the codes which are somewhere in MKA's study at his house, because they are somewhere in the vault and they change weekly. Hobbs tells Laura that she will need to locate the vault codes when she attends a party at MKA's residence to entertain the Russian. He assures her that he has enough diamonds in his drink thermos to see them through their golden years together. Laura speaks with Mr. Jameson, MKA's second-in-command, the night of the event. He relates to Laura how Sir Sinclair, the organization's director of insurance, was previously charged in a health insurance scandal but was never brought to justice. Dmitriev, the head of the Russian Diamond Authority, is introduced to them by MKA. Dmitriev requests a dance from Laura. Laura later makes her way upstairs to search for the codes in MKA's study. Laura hears footsteps and quickly hides as MKA enters and opens a small safe. She watches him and makes a mental note of the safe code. Once he's left, she opens the safe and finds the codes for the vault. The next day, Laura sees a man installing a security camera in the hallway. Later, she meets Hobbs and tells him that there are 8 CCTV cameras being installed. She explains to him that the cameras turn on and off every 60 seconds. She can rest assured that he will have enough time to enter and exit the vault. Hobbs then sweeps the security room's floor and times the cameras. He checks his stopwatch in the cleaner's room before acting. He quickly runs to the vault and enters the code while keeping an eye on his stopwatch. To gain Hobbs a little more time, Laura phones the security room to create a distraction. Once more, he keeps an eye on his stopwatch before opening the vault and scurrying hurriedly out of sight from the camera. Later, we witness Hobbs going for home after work. The following morning, Laura sees Hobbs depart for work, but a notice on the clerk prompts him to come back. Before leaving, Hobbs must unclog a toilet. There are no diamonds when Hobbs is at home pouring his tea thermos into the sink. The diamond sorters left for home the following day. Jameson is in a frenzy when Laura goes to the lobby. When Mr. Eaton calls Laura, she is in the restrooms. He then brings her to the vault. She can't believe her eyes when she walks in. The safe has no items. The project designs are being shown to a man by the name of Finch, and Mr. Eaton informs him that the only way into the vault is by the door. Now MKA is telling all of the management staff that there will be no police investigation because the publicity would ruin the company. Finch is named by Sinclair as the head insurance investigator. Hobbs greets Laura as she enters the foyer and tells her that everything is fine. Laura visits MKA's workplace afterwards. We witness a man by the name of Boyle presenting MKA with a letter about the sale of some merchandise. Boyle appears to be ignorant of both his client's identity and the inventory's contents. Boyle is asked to answer a call. MKA reads the letter, which says that the diamonds can be purchased back for £100 million while he is gone. Boyle gives MKA a small item before leaving, and then he does. The South African star, a huge diamond, is within the package that MKA opens. Later, when Finch questions Laura, he discovers that she's very nervous. The next morning, Laura suggests to Jameson that she works with Finch to help with his investigation. Laura finds Finch and they go down to the vault together. He tells her that CCTV cameras are not so secure because of a 60-second time gap. Finch tells her there was no forced entry. She suggests that the thief must have known the combination. Sinclair offers MKA a check for £5 million to buy enough diamonds to continue trade, but MKA demands the stones back immediately. If Sinclair doesn't pay the ransom, MKA loses his cool and threatens to ruin him when Finch indicates that Ollie, MKA's son, may have been involved. We now see Hobbs in a tunnel. Laura suggests they make a deal and return the jewels, but he warns her that if she does so, they will be arrested. When Finch enters to collect Laura's fingerprints as a formality, we catch her looking at the building's floor plans. Then he asks her to go with him while he meets Hobbs. While Finch questions Hobbs, a man comes in and calls Finch away. Before Hobbs leaves the office, Laura tells him they'll have to negotiate or go to jail. He tells her his cause is worth 100 lifetimes in jail. We see Finch looking at Laura's prints and comparing them with some from MKA's home. Now Laura is opening Hobbs' locker to look for a clue to the diamonds. Later, Laura joins Finch for a drink in a nearby bar. The press shows up at the London Diamond building after Sinclair informed them. Sir Gottfried, the chairman of Sinclair, makes an effort to control the media. MKA descends the stair, then collapses to the ground due to a heart attack. Finch questions Laura about how she was able to take every diamond when they are back at the bar, but she tells him that she is not that smart. Finch departs as soon as he learns of MKA's heart attack. Laura loses a diamond from her earring in the sink drain at the women's restroom. As she takes out the pipe, it suddenly takes place to her how Hobbs must have chosen to take out the diamonds. With a torch in hand, Laura enters the underground network of drains. With a torch in hand, Hobbs appears as she passes through the tunnels. He points a gun at her and tells her she's staying when she threatens to report him. She knocks the rifle out of his grasp and sprints through the tunnel, tripping and falling as she does. She then notices a big diamond on the ground and puts it in her pocket. Hobbs explains to Laura how his wife's cancer would have been cured if the insurance company hadn't delayed the surgery for too long. The cancer was too advanced by that point. The surgery was delayed by Sinclair, who was at the time the insurance chairman. Laura now understands that Hobbs is taking justice on Sinclair. Laura is informed by Hobbs that Sinclair took the only thing he truly loved. Gottfried tells Sinclair he has agreed to pay the ransom of £100 million. Sinclair goes to his office and shoots himself. Laura tells Hobbs how she dropped her diamond in the sink and then she figured it out. Now we see a flashback. When Hobbs was taking all the diamonds in his work trolley at intervals to his workroom, Ollie receives word that the ransom was deposited into the account, but the note from Boyle showing the location of the diamonds is blank. We see how Hobbs emptied the diamonds down the sink then. The South African star was actually in the bottom of the toilet Hobbs was asked to clean. Now Hobbs points the gun at Laura and pulls the trigger. To his surprise, the gun was never loaded. He tells her it doesn't matter now because the money will have been paid. He extinguishes his torch and moves on. Laura descends the tube and scans the area to the side. At the end of the drain, there are all the diamonds, stacked high. Now, while Laura waits on the steps covered in a blanket, we observe men taking boxes of diamonds out of the underground tube. Finch informs her that because she found the jewels, he has lost his 5% finder's fee. Finch interrupts Laura just as she is ready to admit something. He declares that he detests the idea of her living out the rest of her days in prison. He hugs us parts. She remembers the large diamond in her pocket, but she decides to keep it. We see Ollie telling the press that the diamonds were not stolen, then allows them to photograph all the diamonds inside the vault. Dmitriev is seen signing a contract to secure his relationship with the company once again. Back to the present day, and Laura is again talking with Cassie, telling her that she left the company a month later, how she received a letter from a Swiss bank informing her of a deposit made to an account in her name of £100 million. Laura hands Cassie a manuscript of her story to be published, hoping it will inspire other women. At the end, we see how Laura donated the entire sum to deserving organizations all throughout the world. A picture of Laura and her family, husband, daughter, is shown. Cassie reads the last few lines of the document. Will you be a giver or a taker? It's a remarkable world out there. She goes outside to look for Laura but finds that she has left.